Hello, welcome to Hollywood Crime Scene. This is Rachel Fisher.
This is Desi Jedeikin.
And this is part 3 of Movie versus Reality, Hannibal.
Yeah.
AKA the Monster of Florence series.
Yes.
My main source for this episode is once again the book The Monster of Florence by Mario Spezzi and Douglas Preston. Great book. Highly recommend it.
Ooh.
There's so much detail and interesting information I couldn't get to in these episodes, so I highly recommend this book. It's so thorough. It's so interesting. And I also will use some Italian newspaper sources for this episode as well. Where we last left off, it's the 90s, and the Monster of Florence case has a new set of eyes as Chief Inspector Ruggero Perugini leads the investigation. Local creep Pietro Pacciani has been arrested.
Right.
That's that guy.
Yeah.
With the weird painting.
Yes.
And
he's like a molester.
He raped his daughters.
Right.
And he was imprisoned for that previously. And he also was imprisoned for shooting his ex-girlfriend's lover.
Right. So he had a lot of connections.
He had a lot of past awful behavior, and he was a great suspect.
Yes.
So he's been arrested. Pacciani's trial began in April of 1994. During the trial, Pacciani kind of made a scene.
Oh, no.
He was always talking. Rocking back and forth, crying. Sometimes he would shout in the middle of the trial.
Wow.
He would say stuff like, "I am a sweet little lamb."
Ew.
And he had to be told to shut the fuck up.
Nice.
As we discussed in last week's episode, a key piece of evidence against Pacciani was this bizarre painting that they found in his house that was attributed to him.
Yeah.
Now, this was supposed to point to his dark and twisted mind. And this was among the weird shit they found in his house. But this was kind of a smoking gun.
Right.
While the trial was ongoing, journalist Mario Spezzi broke a news story. The painting had not been done by Pacciani.
Oh.
The painting was actually done by a Chilean artist named Christian Olivares, who had been exiled during the Pinochet era, and he was pissed off that his work was being attributed to a serial killer.
But it is still weird that he wanted this painting in his house.
Well,
no.
This is what Christian, I feel bad for this guy, actually. He lived under this horrible regime.
Yeah.
And he's doing this twisted painting to reflect
what happened.
His life under this oppression.
Got it.
He said, "In this painting, I wanted to present a grotesque horror of a dictatorship. To say it is the work of a psychopath is ridiculous." So following the publishing of Spezzi's article revealing this, the prosecution then tried to downplay the importance of the painting. They're like, it's actually not a big deal.
I mean, I don't actually think it was ever, for me, a big deal. It just was another weird thing. The other history is more chilling.
Agreed.
Do you know what I mean?
I think that's the stuff where you can point to and be like, oh, it makes sense that this guy could have committed these crimes.
Right. And then you see the painting, you're like, oh, what's going on here?
It's just one more thing.
Yeah, it was
right?
never really evidence to me.
But once you realize this is what this painting was about.
But that's the thing, I think, with art, you can kind of interpret it in different ways. And seeing it in this killer rapist house, you're going to interpret it that way.
You can put it in a very sinister context.
Right.
Or
is this the mind of the guy, or is it what this person feels like under a dictatorship?
Right. Pacciani's daughters testified for the prosecution. They told the court how their father had raped and beat them. But as awful as their testimony of Pacciani's abuse was, they didn't testify to any evidence directly implicating him in the Monster of Florence murders.
Right.
But obviously they're there to testify to this guy's character.
Yeah. And he had already served time for these crimes.
Right.
Technically.
Some of the evidence presented by prosecution included items that could have been, but was not confirmed to have belonged to the victims. So they gathered evidence around his house like, oh, this could have belonged.
This might be her cardigan. We don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Such as a plastic soap dish and a pad of sketch paper that was made in Germany. Now, if you remember those 2 German tourists, the men who were killed in their bus.
Right.
They're like, oh, a sketch pad that was made in Germany.
What's the soap dish, though?
They're like, they could have had a soap dish.
In the van?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
the sketch pad's a little more.
Right, but still, like, you can explain that. That seems circumstantial.
Right. Because maybe a lot of art supplies come in from Germany. I have no idea.
A witness named Lorenzo Nessi testified on the night that the 2 French tourists were murdered. He saw Pacciani's car near the site of the murder.
Oh.
He described it as a rosy or reddish color car. Now, Pacciani's car was actually white.
Well, that's off.
It's pretty off.
Yeah.
Now, it was at night, and it's been posited, okay, perhaps the glow of the brake lights made the car have a rosy hue. That's one explanation for that. This guy claimed he saw Pacciani in the car with another person. And that was apparently enough because Pietro Pacciani was found guilty and sentenced to 14 life sentences.
Wow.
1 life sentence for every double murder except for the 1968 murders.
Okay.
But Mario Spezzi was not convinced of Pietro Pacciani's guilt. And in 1996, he set out to get some information from a law enforcement official named Arturo Minoliti. Mario put on a coat fitted with a hidden camera and recording device and met with this man at his office.
Oh.
He's like, I'm going to appeal to this guy's conscience and get some information about this investigation because Mario Spezzi has been very critical about the investigation from the beginning.
Right.
And as we've talked about, a lot of this was bungled. Leads were chased down ad nauseum where it didn't seem like it was going anywhere. We talked about the crime scenes not always being secure.
Also, so many suspects arrested and then the investigation seemed to stop.
Correct.
Yeah, like none of it good.
So not a really tight investigation.
No. And it's a difficult case.
Because
there are so many crime scenes, but yeah.
Spezzi told this law enforcement official, Minoliti, that he had heard that he may have some doubts about the investigation of the Monster of Florence. And Minoliti admitted to Mario, yeah, I actually do have some doubts about the investigation. He elaborated that while he believed Pacciani was guilty, the investigation really cut corners to prove this. For example, there was this spring guide rod from a gun that was wrapped up in a rag and mailed to him anonymously with a note that claimed it belonged to Pacciani. He didn't know who this came from, but he happened to get this like, oh, here's a part of the gun.
Right.
It also said in the book that this spring rod is like the one part of a gun you can't like trace to another gun.
Okay.
So it wasn't like, here's this part of a gun you can definitively say came from a .22 Beretta.
Right.
Then a few days later, during the nearly 2-week search of Pacciani's property, investigators found a piece of a rag that matched perfectly with the rag that had been mailed to Minoliti.
Oh.
So he's like, when they just happened to find
that seems a little too.
It seemed like a little too convenient to him. He also had suspicions about how the bullet cartridge was found in Pacciani's yard. Mario Spezzi then asked him point blank, do you think they planted evidence? And Minoliti said, well, I don't want to believe it because they're my friends and colleagues, but honestly, it looks like they did.
Yeah.
Then he told Spezzi he told one other person about his suspicions, another prosecutor named Paolo Canessa. But this information was like a bombshell for Spezzi. He's like, I got someone on tape.
Right.
In the investigation admitting that they have all these misgivings about it and that law enforcement could have gone as far as to even plant evidence, which is a huge fucking deal.
Well, and yeah, you can see very easily how they're like, we got to just get someone.
Right.
At this point.
Right. What Minneloti didn't know is that the footage that was being recorded on the hidden camera was being fed to a local TV station.
Oh, shit.
Spezzi was like, I'm going to do some dirty work right now, but like,
it's got to be done.
It's got to be done. This is like the only way. And he was like willing to risk his ethics for just getting this information out there. But unfortunately, no news organization decided to run his story.
Oh.
So even though he had this like really good footage, everyone suddenly was like, it's actually, let's just keep him.
Well, because Pietro is a bad guy. So it's not like you want to help him get released.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. Spezzi suspected that the scoop had been buried by someone in a position of power.
Right, I don't doubt that.
Meanwhile, Pietro Pacciani had filed an appeal, and he was given a new trial with new prosecutors in front of new judges. The evidence was looked over again, and it was determined that the investigation and the evidence against Pacciani was really weak. Everyone knew that he was going to be acquitted.
Shit.
By this time, a new chief inspector had replaced Perugini. Perugini ended up getting an appointment in Washington, D.C.
Oh, really?
At this point. So this new chief inspector's name is Michele Guittari.
Okay.
He had spent the appeal trial combing back over all the evidence from the investigation and looking into questions that had remained unanswered. One question that he had was about the witness who testified in the first trial that he saw Pacciani driving in his car with another man. Well, who was that man?
Yeah.
Is he connected to the case? Guittari suspected the man was a guy named Mario Vanni, a former postman and a friend of Pacciani's who had testified in the first trial.
For him or against him?
I think he was like a hostile witness.
Got it.
He testified for the prosecution, but his answers were all really strange and not helpful.
He wasn't helpful,
So he's like, it had to have been that weird guy.
Yeah.
That testified, right? So then this guy, Mario Vanni, is arrested and charged with being an accomplice on the same day the verdict in Pacciani's case was scheduled to be announced. And this is so weird because this guy's arrested for being an accomplice as they know Pacciani's about to be acquitted.
That's so weird.
Inspector Guittari ran to the court and offered more witnesses who he claimed were also accomplices, but like it was too late, basically. He said that these guys were also friends of Pacciani's and that one of the friends, a man named Giancarlo Lotti, said that he was present at the scene of the 1985 French tourist murders, and he saw Pacciani and Mario Vanni commit the crime.
Wow.
So now there's this new guy coming into the story, Lotti.
Yeah.
Who's like, those are my guys. Those are my buddies.
I like these people coming out of the woodwork so many years later.
Right. Now, all of these guys who are friends of Pacciani's were either known to be like drunks or they had intellectual disabilities. They weren't the most reliable witnesses.
Right.
Or they had like some kind of history that indicated that they might be lying.
Yeah.
But Guittari did not give a fuck.
He just needs something.
He needs witnesses to prove that Pacciani has all these other accomplices, right?
Right.
These guys would go on to be known as the snack buddies or the picnicking friends.
Wow.
Cool. I think cool name. I think it's an Italian mistranslation because the book referred to them as the picnicking friends, but other sources have also referred to them as the snack buddies.
I like snack buddies better.
I think snack buddies is a funnier name for your...
It's snappy.
It's snappy. It's a more demented name for your group of murderers and rapists.
Yeah, it's like, and we eat Lunchables.
Yeah, it's a snack.
We're snack gang.
So this name came from statements that Mario Vanni made during his trial testimony. He was asked repeatedly how him and Pietro Pacciani knew each other, and he would only answer, "We were picnicking friends."
That's so weird.
This would go on to become like in like Italian jargon. Like this became like a famous phrase.
People would say it.
People say it for like a variety of things.
That's funny.
So Pacciani wound up being acquitted that day, but because of this new evidence, Italy's version of the Supreme Court took up the case and a new trial for Pacciani was ordered.
So they don't have...
I guess they don't have double jeopardy. Giancarlo Lotti, one of the snack buddies, was in police custody for months. And I don't think he was jailed. He was just like in their custody. They were kind of like sequestering him, asking him questions. But details of his story about how he was an accomplice to the murders didn't always line up with the evidence. Like he would say stuff that just was like not accurate with the facts of the case. Among the stories he told investigators was this, quote, I also want to point out that Mario Vanni told me that Pietro had taken the parts of the woman he had removed home and hidden them in the garage in a bundle. Mario told me that Pacciani wanted to feed them to his daughters, but I don't know if he actually did that. Mario only told me that, but I didn't believe it, and I asked why. And Mario replied again that he wanted to feed them to his daughters.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, so he's like really... getting like he's like telling some tales.
Yeah, he's getting off on embellishing things.
Totally. Mario Spezzi believed that this guy claimed to be the accomplice for attention.
I mean, it sounds like it.
This was a guy who was not popular around town. He was known as the village idiot, and he had been subjected to a lot of bullying. And
is this the postman?
Giancarlo Lotti.
Oh, okay, no, that's the other guy.
That's Mario Vanni is the ex-postman. And this guy's just another one of these snack buddies.
It's so funny.
So Mario is like, yeah, this guy, this is like his big moment.
Yeah, because he's getting attention, so he's going to keep it going.
He's going to keep it going, and he's going to tell these wild stories about him and his friends and like what they did.
Because they'll make the paper.
He's in the paper. His picture's in the paper, and he likes the adulation. I mean, it's not adulation, but he likes this attention.
Yeah.
Right? Further complicating the new investigation, a sex worker came forward and told investigators that the snack buddies used to hang out at a wizard's house.
She's like, you want an embellishment? I got one. I got one with a wizard.
They hung out with a wizard, and that they would all worship the devil and do black magic.
Interesting.
Inspector Ghichiari was like, yes, I love that idea.
Yeah.
He thought that was like such a cool direction to be going in.
Yeah, he's like, this sounds good. This is guilty.
He's like, this is perfect.
Because this is like, we needed something after the painting got lost.
Exactly. He loved the idea that the snack buddies belonged to a satanic cult.
Oh my God. And it's like the 90s now. So we had just gone through the satanic panic.
Right. He's not over it.
Yeah. He's like, let's go.
To him, this explained the ritualistic killings and the harvesting of the vulvas.
Right.
He's like, perfect, satanic cult. That's what this is.
Why didn't we think of this earlier?
During the height of the satanic panic.
Yeah, like this is crazy.
He wondered if perhaps these three dolts were merely employed by a bigger, more powerful organization.
They're like the little feeble-minded demons who are just like carrying things out.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So in 1997, Mario Vanni, Giancarlo Lotti, and another guy, Giovanni Faggi, went on trial. Now, what's weird, Desi, is this guy, Giovanni Faggi, is mentioned several times in the Italian press, but he's not talked about in the book.
Oh, weird.
He doesn't have there's not, the bigger stories are about, so I guess he's just like a lower tier snack buddy.
When did the book come out?
2013.
Okay. So he would have been in it if he was important.
It's also weird because his name is like one letter removed from one of the victims, Giovanni Foggi.
Oh.
So I like looked into them, like, is this like a mistake in a paper I read?
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
I just included him in case somebody comes for me and is like, there was a fourth snack buddy.
Yeah, you forgot Faggi. The yogurt guy.
Well, they all went, these snack buddies minus Pietro, they all go on trial. An article in the Italian newspaper La Repubblica read this. Mario Vanni cut off his victim's breasts. Giancarlo Lotti acted as lookout. Giovanni Faggi watched. To defend themselves against these charges, the gang members, an average age of 60, will appear before the Azizi court in the Santa Verdiana bunker courtroom on Tuesday, May 20th. According to the prosecutor's office and the flying squad that conducted the second investigation, they are the gang of monsters who roam the woods spying on couples. So they're not even using the word allegedly.
Yeah. It's kind of weird that the guy who brought all these guys together isn't even on trial anymore.
It's crazy.
Like,
he's currently out. He's released.
It's like, if he didn't do it, then how do you say any of them were involved? Like,
yeah, it's wild. So Giancarlo Lotti was found guilty of 4 out of the 8 total double homicides. He was sentenced to 30 years. Mario Vanni was found guilty of 5 double murders and sentenced to life. And Giovanni Faggi was acquitted. But there would be no new trial for Pietro Pacciani because in 1998, he died of a heart attack.
Oh.
So he didn't get that new trial. Inspector Ghichiari was concerned that he may have been murdered.
Oh.
He's like, this is a whole big conspiracy.
Diabolique. Someone scared him.
The medical examiner determined that he may have taken too much of his heart medication. But Ghichiari was like, oh yeah, like maybe who made him take it? Was he poisoned?
Yeah.
And Inspector Ghichiari continued hunting for who he believed were the masterminds behind the case. The satanic cult made up of powerful people.
Now we're talking.
Let's take a quick break here. We'll be right back. Bolstering his belief that the snack buddies and Pacciani were part of a satanic cult that was being run by powerful people was the fact that Pacciani had apparently come into some money during the period of the murders. He believed that this was payment for his crimes.
Oh.
In reality, Spezzi kind of debunked this in the book. He was like, he didn't come into a lot of money. And, like, he died broke.
Right.
Or something. Like, it wasn't, like...
If it was true, wouldn't they keep paying him off?
They also found, like, no... It just, like, it wasn't that... It was just, like, a dumb fucking theory, basically.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dumb theories in this.
Well, because if he was truly being paid off, they'd keep it up to the end.
Right.
Especially because he's constantly being questioned. They'd want to keep him quiet.
Yeah. So... Ghichiari spoke about this satanic cult theory in a book. Later on, he said, the best sacrifices for evoking demons are human sacrifices, and the death most favorable for such sacrifices are those that occur during orgasm and are called mors iusti. A similar motive led to the killings for the monster who struck his victims while they were making love on that precise moment of orgasm. On that precise moment of orgasm, powerful energies are released, indispensable for the person acting out satanic rituals, which bring power to himself and to the ritual he is celebrating.
Is that true?
Desi.
I've just never heard orgasm as being the most powerful moment. I always thought it was like babies or something. Okay. You know, like, look. I'm just saying in the satanic world.
Right.
That I'm not saying is true. Just lore-wise.
I don't know where Ghichiari got this information, but he is convinced now. He's like, yeah, when you're coming, that's the best time to kill someone for satanic purposes.
Okay.
Ghichiari was going down a rabbit hole of conspiracies and ancient secret societies and, like, Aleister Crowley
like,
connections.
How are we tying the snack gang to ancient secret society?
I'm serious. Like,
it's one of them.
These guys are legitimately a bunch of drunk idiot assholes.
Yeah.
And they're part of, like, a powerful organization.
It's so funny when investigators are trying to make something out of a bunch of idiots, like this dark center. It's like they're not that level of criminal. like at all. Like,
right. And like, why would an organization hire somebody who's like these losers?
Like, you're not necessarily going to the town idiot to help you with your satanic whatever.
Right. So Guttieri ends up turning to this Italian conspiracy theory website.
Oh, no.
He's like really into this website now. The website's run by a woman named Gabriella Carlizzi, and she claimed that a number of tragedies and crimes were carried out by an ancient satanic sect known as the School of the Red Rose.
Ooh.
After 9/11...
That's some damn brown-ass shit.
Totally. After 9/11, this woman sent out a fax to all the newspapers telling everyone the Red Rose is responsible for 9/11.
She's like an OG web sleuth.
Now she said that the Red Rose was responsible for the Monster of Florence murders.
Oh.
So, like, basically any horrific thing that happens can be explained as the work of this satanic ancient cult. Guttieri and his team of investigators took this lady seriously.
Oh, come on.
And they had her come in and they would just listen to her talk about this secret society.
This is like before we all knew everyone on the internet was insane. Back then you were still like, she has a website. It has to be official.
It has to be legitimate. It's a website. So she's like giving them information and they're like taking down all these notes and they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is great.
Yeah, we love it.
If you remember all the way back in episode 1, one of the items found at the site of the 1981 killings was a stone doorstop.
Oh.
This doorstop had been collected as evidence because it was at the crime scene. When Guttieri went back through the evidence lockers, he came across this doorstop and he was like, oh my God, it has to do with Satanism. It's in the shape of a pyramid.
Oh.
Remember we talked about pyramids on Patreon?
Yes.
So Guttieri was like, this shape, this is not a doorstop. This is some satanic ritualistic object.
Pyramids.
Guttieri told the newspaper that this doorstop was, quote, a truncated pyramid with a hexagonal base that served as a bridge between heaven and hell.
Duh. Of course. How did they not see that?
Guttieri was like going through all these old crime scene photos, looking at stuff, trying to find all these like symbols.
Oh my God.
And evidence.
That's the exact wrong way to do it.
He's looking at rock formations and being like, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that rock circle.
That's clearly like a pagan fire starter or something like.
Yeah. And the fucked up thing is like people are going along with this.
I mean, I think that stuff is always cool, but I never believe it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm always interested. I'm like, oh, like when people try to compare the assassinations of like Lincoln and JFK.
I mean,
they bring those things up, and it's like obviously you can nitpick and cherry pick and like.
Yes, it's interesting to like. It's entertaining to go down a rabbit hole, but
you don't want your investigators.
I don't want my professionals to be listening to some internet crank.
No, it's crazy.
Please,
and then going back and trying to make something of everything,
right?
Which is like crazy.
Another random thing that Guttieri found in the case files was a report made by a mother and daughter who owned a nursing home in the hills of Tuscany. These women claimed that one of their residents had made disturbing drawings of women and had like their legs and heads and arms cut off. So they reported this patient they had to the police. Guttieri got rock hard when he learned that Pacciani had happened to have once worked at this nursing home villa as a gardener.
Oh, I mean, that is...
So he's like, there's the connection. I mean, it is a coincidence.
But yeah.
So now he believed that this villa was a headquarters for the Order of the Red Rose.
See, that's where he took it too far.
And that the mother and daughter owners were part of this satanic cult.
So... They weren't too smart connecting themselves to the case. If that was
why'd they go to the police? At this time, this villa was now under new ownership and was operating as a luxury hotel. So it wasn't even a nursing home anymore. This mother-daughter duo, they hadn't owned the place for years.
That's so funny.
And it's like this fancy hotel.
You've got some nerve taking like an asylum and turning it into a luxury hotel. Like some like weird energy.
Gittieri soon discovered that while it was operating as a nursing home, the conditions were abhorrent.
Yeah.
So he tracked down this suspicious resident, and this resident that had been reported to the police, he was like, the owners were the monsters. I was drugged and they took my money.
Oh my God.
So in this like satanic cult nursing home investigation, they actually end up discovering that this nursing home was being run with horrible conditions.
Right.
And these elderly patients were being abused.
And their life savings were taken.
Right. So the mother and daughter ended up being arrested for kidnapping and fraud.
So they really were dumb for turning that evidence.
Yeah. So they may have been shitty people, but this was not evidence that they ran a cult out of their nursing home.
No.
But Gittieri pressed on. He was convinced that some cult business was happening at this place. He actually believed that the vulvas and the breasts that the monster of Florence took from his victims may have been taken to this villa for satanic rituals. So he's like, we need to go to the villa to look for evidence of those body parts.
And this is now like a luxury hotel.
It's a luxury hotel.
So they're like, we don't want anyone here thinking you're looking for missing vulvas. That's the last thing we need for business.
This is the day spa.
Yeah.
Please leave us alone. The villa, which again, like you said, is now a luxury hotel, was raided.
Oh my God.
So Gittieri and his guys, they're like, we're going to raid this hotel.
It's like, where do you even begin to look?
Well, they decided we're going to look in the basement. That's where historically people make like prosciutto and cheese and wine and stuff. And there are these vast basements.
Okay. Now I don't want to think about prosciutto and vulvas together. Come on.
Well, he thought that would be a convenient place to store these body parts.
Oh my God.
And he's like, these are vast, big cavernous basements in these old Italian villas. It's a perfect place for satanic rituals.
Got it.
Well, when they got there, all they found was a bunch of Halloween decorations because they were planning a party.
And I mean, if it were true, I would think they would have taken the vulvas with them when they left.
By now. Right.
Because it's like important
That's
to their rituals.
Important stuff.
Yeah.
Or like burned them in a ritual. I mean,
I just
why
like
would they still be there?
They're not going to leave that behind. Like, oh shit, we forgot the vulvas.
They allegedly paid a lot of money for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and it's not easy to get.
It's not easy to get.
Like, you got to keep your satanic elements intact.
By the year 2000, journalist and author of this book, The Monster of Florence, Douglas Preston, had moved to Florence with his family. He had befriended Mario Spezzi, the journalist, and they were now working on writing a story about the case for The New Yorker.
Oh.
So Douglas Preston, this American who's living in Florence with his family, he meets Mario Spezzi, and he's like, tell me everything about the case. Mm-hmm. And Mario, like, gives him the rundown. They become super close, and now Douglas Preston is, like, invested.
Yeah.
And they've teamed up together to write this big article for The New Yorker.
And is this turn into the book, basically?
It eventually will turn into the book. But right now, they're discussing evidence. Mario's like, you know, they're splayed out all the evidence. Yeah. He's fucking telling him everything. And Preston asks Spezzi, all right, who do you think it is? Because you have a lot of suspicions about this investigation. You haven't historically believed the people who have been arrested.
Right. What's your take?
What's your take about it? So Mario Spezzi believed that the 1968 murders were committed by Salvatore Vinci and that the gun used in that crime was stolen by the monster and then used in all the other crimes from 1974 on. Spezzi told Preston that in 1974, 4 months before the Monster of Florence murders began, Salvatore reported a break-in at his house.
Oh.
The police asked him what was stolen, And Salvatore was like, I don't know. So he refused to tell them, like, that a gun, because this gun...
Maybe the gun was, like, illegal or something.
Well, it had been used in the 1968 murders.
That's true, yeah.
Salvatore said, well, I do know who I think did the break-in. So he was willing to give up who he thought broke into his house, but he didn't want to get into the details of what he thought was stolen. And this person, said Mario Spezzi, was the monster of Florence. The guy who Salvatore named broke into his house in this police report. He's like, that's the guy.
Oh.
That's the monster of Florence. The person who did the break-in and stole the gun must have been someone that Salvatore was afraid of having possession of this gun, and that's why he filed a police report to have it on record in case anything happened.
Right.
Like, he didn't want to get into specifics, but he wanted this name on record. And he wanted it on record that his house had been broken into.
Right.
Because this is not a family that trusts police. So it had to have been, like, a good reason he was going to the police.
Right.
The police report was apparently buried after the Sardinian Trail investigation died in the late 80s and Rotella was thrown off the case. So Mario was telling Douglas, look, I've never seen this report. I've only heard about it.
But he 100% knows the break-in happened.
Yes.
Okay.
All the evidence pointed to the name on the police report being the monster of Florence. The FBI report said that the monster would have a history of petty crimes, and this guy did. He had been charged with illegal firearms possession, breaking and entering, theft, and arson. This guy would have also had to have been out of town during that gap between the 1974 and 1981 murders. This person did, in fact, leave Florence from 1975 to 1980. And these weren't the only things that matched up in the FBI's report. The behavioral science unit concluded that the monster was impotent. Well, this person had his marriage annulled in 1985 for non-consummation.
Oh.
This man also suffered trauma in his childhood. His father was in fact suspected of murdering his mother. The monster, Spezzi said, was none other than Antonio Vinci, Salvatore's son.
Oh. You mean the little boy that was in the car?
No, that's Barbara Loci's son.
Got it. Wait, sorry.
Natalino.
Wait, who is this guy?
Antonio Vinci was the baby who, in 1961, Salvatore comes home to find his baby in the kitchen and his wife, Barbarina, locked in the bedroom.
Oh, Barbarina.
Dead of a gas poisoning.
Got it. So this is the baby.
This is the baby.
But he would have, how old would he have been in 1975?
He would have been a teenager.
So pretty young.
Yes, but Mario Spezzi argues that a lot of serial killers start killing early and that this crime was also a little messier. The first crime was messier than the other ones.
Right. I'm not saying they don't start young. I'm just saying what's pretty young.
It's very young. He was 1 year old when his mom died in 1961. So he would have been 15 in the first murders.
And I mean, and serial killers, sometimes they don't start with people.
They start with animals.
Yeah, like that young. Or maybe they'll do like another child or a friend. You know what I'm saying? So it is unusual to do like two adults.
It is, but evidence of the shooting during that time shows that like the bullet that killed the guy in that shooting, it actually struck his arm and ricocheted off of his arm into his chest and killed him. It wasn't like a clean shot in his chest.
So this guy, I'm sorry, these names just confuse me. He would have robbed his father's house and stole the gun?
Yes.
Got it. So this guy is like, my son's a piece of shit. He's fucked up.
Yes. Yeah. Salvatore was afraid enough that his son would do something really bad with the gun that he wanted to just ensure that, like...
This is so interesting.
Honestly...
I like Mario... He ate with this one.
I agree.
I think he got it.
I think he got it.
Because this is crazy.
I mean, it makes sense.
It sounds like a movie where we see them at one getting traumatized.
Yes.
Like it's like a movie.
He's traumatized from the start. His dad is a big fucking piece of shit.
He has no role models or like anyone caring for him, probably.
Right. It's suspected that his mother was murdered by his own father. His uncles are big pieces of shit.
And even if the suicide is accurate, that's still traumatizing.
It's very
like,
traumatizing. And then his father is suspected and at one point arrested for the murder of Barbara Lochi and this other guy and her lover in 1968. And it's like he modeled his murders after that murder.
Right. And the father is like protective still, but also aware and
scared.
Doesn't want to go down for his crimes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So anyway, Doug Preston, when he heard this, was like, dude.
I love it.
Whoa. He's like, what the fuck? We got to interview this guy.
Yeah. Like, this is crazy. And how long has Mario had this idea?
For a while, I think.
But no one's like taking it seriously, or?
I mean, I don't know exactly how long he's had the idea. Remember, this is the year 2000 now.
Right.
But by this, so, I mean, I don't know how long it took him to put this together or when I don't really remember when he heard about the police report, because I think when he heard about this police report, that really cracked this whole thing wide open for him.
And at this point, he probably doesn't even want to bring it to the police because they're so inept.
Well, that's a whole other thing we'll get into in a bit. So Doug Preston and Mario Spezzi go to Antonio's house to interview him. And he was friendly and talkative with them.
So he's like in his 40s. Or just 40, about.
I guess. Yeah.
So he's still very young.
So they're asking him about his childhood, talking to him about like his dad and stuff. And eventually Mario Spezzi brought up the police report. He's like, so your dad filed this police report that you broke into his house in 1974. And Antonio was like, well, yeah, I did. I did break into his house. He did file that report, but they couldn't prove I stole anything because my dad didn't say what was stolen.
That's weird.
Yes.
And Mario just acted like he knew it was him.
Yeah.
Because technically it wasn't said.
It wasn't said, but Antonio just admitted. He's like, yeah, my dad did file that police report and I did break into his house.
Yeah.
But they don't know what I stole.
Yeah.
They didn't charge me with that. They only charged me with breaking in.
Yeah.
They didn't charge me with any theft. Then Antonio, completely unprompted, told Spezzi and Preston that him and his dad got into a fight one night. Antonio said, I pinned him, planting my scuba knife at his throat, and he managed to get away and I locked myself in the bathroom. Scuba knife.
Wow.
The scuba knife.
Yeah, because that was like the serrated.
It was the notched knife.
The notched knife, yeah.
That every medical examiner believed was the kind of knife that was used on the victims.
Yeah.
And he admits that.
Then he had one.
Unprompted, he mentions threatening his father with his scuba knife.
Oh my God.
Spezzi then asked him, did you take the .22 Beretta from your dad's house? Antonio says, I couldn't have taken it because if I did, I would have fired it into my dad's head. And then Spezzi is like, look, are you the monster of Florence?
Like, let's not fuck around.
And Antonio responded, no, I like my pussy alive.
Ew.
So pretty gross response.
Right. Also a lie, though, because he can't get it up.
Well, yeah.
So it's like performative in a way.
Look, I think this is the guy.
I mean, I do too, because there's too many connections. And he actually fits every criteria. Like,
especially to me, if it was the same gun used in every crime.
Well, he's not even like defensive. He's not like, no, I didn't break into my dad's house. That's not true. So I don't know what report you saw.
Or like
do you know what I mean? Like,
right. I don't know. It's crazy. It's kind of crazy, right?
Well, and I like that it kind of like concedes that his dad did the first murder.
Right.
And that they're unconnected, which we also suspected.
Right.
But it's still connected to the dad in some way.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because the gun thing, the same gun being used in all these crimes was like the one thing where it's like, well, how do we explain this?
Also, where did he go during those years? Do you know?
Yes, he was like living with a relative.
So that's also very like on point.
I mean, there were a lot of things in the BSU's report that lined up with like this guy's life.
Yeah.
Just what they deduced from his profile.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway.
But why did he stop? I guess that's one thing.
That is an interesting question.
Because it stopped in like, what,
85?
So it's like, what made him stop finally?
Right. By 2001, Mario Spezzi and Doug Preston had finished their piece about the monster of Florence for The New Yorker. But September 11th happened, and that piece was killed. The piece was killed because, look, this horrific tragedy happens. Nobody wants to read about a serial killer right now. It's not the time.
It's like, not now.
It's not the time.
Not now, Mario.
So they're pretty sad about this.
That's crazy.
But obviously, eventually, like, this would go on to become a big book.
So it never got published?
I don't know. I think they did get the rights released back to them.
Got it. And that's how they were able to maybe do the book.
I'm sure it was eventually printed in other magazines.
Right.
It just wasn't in the New Yorker at this time.
Got it.
But it was a big blow at the time to both of these guys.
Oh my God.
Because they worked
that would
so
be an
hard on
interesting,
this.
like, topic, like projects that were canceled because of 9/11.
Oh my God.
Because I know there's a lot of movies, TV shows, scenes were taken out of things, like things were delayed.
I mean, we could probably do a whole episode on that because
it's interesting.
I mean, I remember when that happened.
Like it's like a true butterfly effect or something, where this one event changes all these other courses.
Yes. Just in pop culture.
Just in pop culture.
Like, not to mention, we're not talking about the geopolitical
No. I'm just talking pop culture.
Right.
Things that were supposed to happen that didn't happen. Or movies that got recast, maybe because something didn't happen and then the other person had another you know what I mean? Like, there's all those kind of things, those domino effects.
But certainly releases were delayed.
I just remember a lot of things not being, like, the scenes being cut.
Correct.
Like, oh, there's an airplane fire in this movie.
Right.
We got to cut it.
Right.
Or we can't release this movie now.
Or something in New York.
Yeah.
Like, we can't have this.
Definitely.
Anyway, Ghittari's investigation continued. And the following year, in 2002, a new thread was being looked at.
No.
So back in 1985, following the monster's final murders, a young doctor named Francesco Narducci had drowned in a lake. At the time, there were rumors in the town that this guy was the monster of Florence.
Oh.
He's a doctor. Remember, doctors were being accused. And he drowned. Who is this guy?
Yeah.
This was investigated at the time and nothing came of it. So this doctor's death, though, ends up coming up in 2002 because there's this investigation into a group of loan sharks. And during a tapped phone conversation, one of the suspected loan sharks said this threat, "We're going to do you like we did that doctor in Lake Trasimeno." Oh. And they're like, "Oh, the doctor who drowned. What? Was he killed by loan sharks? Was it not an accidental drowning or suicide? Was he killed by who are these loan sharks?" I don't know. This is another one of Ghittari's crazy rabbit holes because, like, that conspiracy theory lady, Gabriella Carlizzi, was so balls deep in this investigation that she posited that the loan sharks were actually connected to the satanic cult.
Oh, yeah.
And at this point, Ghittari is, like, taking everything she says really seriously.
Yeah. This doesn't seem like it has any other evidence at all.
No, but he, like, tugs at this thread for a while.
I mean, the only compelling aspect is that explains why the murder stopped. But a lot of people died probably that year.
Yeah. So this conspiracy theory lady said the loan sharks are part of the satanic cult. Therefore, so was Dr. Narducci. Therefore, he was the monster of Florence.
Yeah, I don't buy this one.
Now, Narducci was dead but he came from a wealthy family. So Inspector Gutierrez like, great, let's investigate his family. They're alive.
Oh.
Let's bother them.
They're not going to like that.
Anyway, he believed that they have to be some part of satanic cult with all these other elites. Another wacko theory arose from Gabriella Carlizzi that when they found Narducci's body at the lake back in 1985, it wasn't actually his body.
Oh.
She's like, they swapped his body with another body.
So he's still alive.
So she has to add this other like insane element to this already insane story.
She's drunk with power.
Totally.
Because it's like she has someone who believes everything she says and she just keeps going.
She's just like pulling shit out of a hat.
Yeah.
Anyway, Gutierrez was like, oh my God, I love that idea.
That's crazy.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And he began to seriously investigate that claim.
Oh my God.
He realized that no autopsy was ever performed on Dr. Narducci, so this only strengthened this belief. He's like, that's very suspicious.
Right.
The family is definitely hiding something.
Oh my God.
That's what he said. However, at the time, most people believed that the family didn't want an autopsy on their son because he was addicted to pills and they didn't want that getting out.
Oh, interesting.
So, like,
they had a reason.
That's like an explanation for that.
But that could also explain why he drowned. If he was like
it could
drugged
be
or something. Like on drugs.
According to Gutierrez, Narducci was killed by members of the cult because he had become untrustworthy. But he also believed this body swap theory.
Yeah, that doesn't line up.
So he's like, their son was killed by the cult. He said, okay, how about this? The son is killed by the cult somewhere else. And then they dispose of that body. And then they kill some other guy and toss him in the lake to make it seem like that's how their son died. And the guy kind of looks like the son.
Yeah.
That
what seems like a lot of work.
And he was like, we're going to exhume Narducci's grave to prove this.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't prove it. Because
Yeah.
they did exhume this guy's grave and they did a DNA test. And they're like, that's Narducci. He's been buried here for 17 years.
Oh my God.
You fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Anyway, this hard evidence did not deter Gutierrez or Carlizzi. She was like, his body must have been swapped again. They must have
double swap.
They literally heard that you guys were going to exhume the grave, so they dug him up really quick and they put him back in there.
This is crazy.
I mean, this is what happens when you're dealing with a conspiracy theorist, is like any amount of hard evidence you present to them, they explain it away. They explain it away. Like, you can't penetrate these people.
No, and when nothing is off limits as an explanation, it's impossible to convince them because most people will have a limit. We're like, that's too crazy to explain it. But these people have no limit.
I truly believe that conspiracy theorists have like the same kind of issue as like people who have been brainwashed by a cult.
Yeah. It's like more self-induced or something. It's like they cult leadered themselves.
They totally cult leadered themselves, and they have to be deprogrammed.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it in this country. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like really hard to get through to people.
Look where we live, dog.
Like, but you see the online stuff too. It's like, it's an unlimited rabbit hole. Like, you can go on forever.
Oh my God.
And all you need is like one cool thing to keep you going.
Right.
Where you're like, I got it.
And they hook you with like a nugget of maybe truth or something that like could be true. And
right, because you can always find one thing, I think, that seems like a cool connection.
And it just spirals from there. And these people don't realize they've been completely brainwashed. And then you can't get through to them ever.
Right, because they always have a reason or an explanation, or everyone's against them. It's like it like kind of beefs up their paranoia.
Right. Like, ultimately, people who are conspiracy theorists, they want to believe that they're in the know about something that other people aren't. And it gives them...
it's like a very weird kind of narcissism, right? Like, I'm smarter than everyone.
I know something that you don't know.
You guys are all dumb.
This is what they're not telling you.
There's always that character in like a disaster movie. They're like, they run out of the cabin. They're like, it's happening.
They're vindicated.
It's played by like Jeff Daniels or something.
Well, a great example of that is Woody Harrelson in 2012.
Yes.
I mean, he was vindicated.
But that's the dream.
It's their dream. It's their dream.
The dream. They think they're going to be Woody Harrelson.
The thing that's like also so annoying about conspiracy theorists is it's like, no, there actually is terrible, crazy shit happening everywhere you look. That's actually happening.
I agree. And there are people in power who are doing evil things. It's just not.
You don't need to like go to these extreme lengths.
Yeah.
Like it's right there, dude.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, so yeah, it's really crazy that this happened during this like official investigation, and that this woman with like, I don't know what her credentials are other than running a crank website.
I mean, we know there aren't any credentials. She's got nothing. It's like when a detective relies too heavily on a psychic, or something. It's like, come on, guy. Like, you can't follow her everywhere.
So they exhume Narducci's body. The body is taken to a medical examiner. And the medical examiner is like, this guy has a fractured laryngeal cartilage, which is compatible with manual strangulation. So when the medical examiner reveals this only adds fuel to the fire.
Can't give this guy anything.
This guy is like, see? He was fucking murdered.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the weird thing is, even if he was murdered, it doesn't mean it's connected to the Monster of Florence.
It doesn't prove he's part of a satanic cult.
Or that he did anything, like murder-wise.
Yeah. Obviously, the press had a field day with this. By this point, Mario Spezzi feels like he's losing his mind because he feels like the press and the coverage of this story has become so unhinged.
Is he revealing publicly his theory or not yet?
Very soon.
Okay.
Anyway, next, Guittieri ordered a search of a house belonging to a guy named Francesco Calamendre. This guy was a local pharmacist, and he's now being accused of being one of the masterminds of the Monster of Florence murders. So now there's this other guy.
Oh.
And this guy happened to be a friend of Mario Spezzi's.
Oh, that's weird.
Guittieri's on a rampage. He's just like picking random people, and he's like, this guy's in the cult. Let's investigate them.
Right. And that connection to him is probably meaningful. Like, oh, this is how Mario is getting all this intel or something.
Possibly. I'm sure he salivated at that connection. Anyway, this guy has an interesting story, this pharmacist. He was rather well-to-do, as his pharmacy was the only one in town. He ended up marrying a wealthy woman, and they had a really good life together. But things took a dark turn, and he fell into a deep depression. He ends up selling the pharmacy. He's not doing good. His son is addicted to drugs and was committing crimes. And then his wife developed schizophrenia and had to be committed.
Oh, my God.
Now, in the early 90s, they divorced, and she wrote a letter to the police claiming that her husband, Calamendre, was the Monster of Florence and that he had stored body parts in their refrigerator. So that's
Jesus.
This this report by this woman who has serious mental health issues.
Right.
Is being taken really seriously now by Guittieri. So he's like, we need to look into this guy. The wife made a report.
Sure, she has schizophrenia, but...
I mean, also at the time, in the early 90s when she made this report, it was looked into.
Right, I'm sure.
But these claims were quickly dismissed because she wasn't well. But now, in the early 2000s, Guittieri's like, let's check that out.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So he managed to find some less than credible witnesses who were able to make connections between Calamendre, Narducci, and Pacciani.
Oh, my God.
One of the witnesses was that sex worker who had claimed that Pacciani and the snack buddies hung out with the wizard. So they got her back. They're like, what do you know about this guy?
Let's bring that crazy girl.
And this girl's like, sure, I live for telling stories.
Oh, my God.
She told the investigators that there was this villa near the site of the 1981 murders, a different villa. She said, quote, there was a doctor who was doing experiments in mummification in the villa.
Oh, my God.
Giancarlo Lotti talked about this place on many occasions and always in the 80s when we were there. He told me that this villa had a laboratory underground where the Swiss doctor did his mummification experiments. I'll explain it better. Lotti said that the Swiss doctor, following his travels in Egypt, got hold of an old papyrus that explained how to mummify bodies. He said the papyrus was missing a piece relating to the mummification of the soft parts, and I mean among them the sex organs and the breasts. He told me that this was why the girls were mutilated in the murders of the Monster of Florence.
Wow. And then Nicolas Cage. This sounds like a movie. There's a missing piece of the papyrus.
And
like, what the hell?
The Swiss doctor doing mummies.
I swear to God, this woman is a great screenwriter.
Yeah. Guittieri is like, has a boner.
He's like, this is so juicy.
I love this.
Wait, I like that this guy is literally like, oh my God, this story is so juicy. This is how you get him. Make it as crazy as possible.
You can tell him anything.
I need to see this guy.
Like, this guy probably loves insane infographics on Instagram.
Yeah. He's just like, honestly, I kind of get it, but I'm not running investigations. Like, that's the problem.
No. Yeah. Like
I would also be like, whoa, that's crazy.
In 2006, Mario Spezzi was arrested.
No.
And accused of slander and sidetracking the investigation.
Was he arrested by Mario, the other Mario?
Guittieri.
Yeah.
That's Michel Guittieri.
Oh, Michel, yeah.
Now, Mario had appeared on Italy's version of America's Most Wanted to talk about the Monster of Florence, and he spent that episode poking holes in the official investigation.
So they're pissed.
They're fucking pissed at him because he's like, he brought in like a scientist.
He's like dealing with facts.
He's dealing with facts and logic. And Guittieri and his guys are pissed.
Yeah. That's crazy, though, that you can get arrested for that.
He got arrested for hindering the investigation. Guittieri... Oh, by this time, Doug Preston had moved back to America with his family, but he was also being accused of slander. So he's tangled up in this as well. Spezzi spent 23 days in jail.
Jesus.
Fortunately, the charges were dropped, and it was determined that he had been arrested and detained illegally.
Yeah.
After Mario Spezzi's death in 2016, Doug Preston wrote this on his website. What the book doesn't say is that long after Mario's arrest and release, the prosecutor and the chief inspector of police in the monster investigation continued to file criminal charges against him. The Italian courts repeatedly dismissed those charges, only to have the prosecutor and police file new and slightly revised charges. This judicial vendetta went on for almost a decade and caused Mario and his family serious economic distress. His doctors say that this unrelenting harassment contributed greatly to his ill health, and I have no doubt hastened his death.
Oh my God.
Not a single one of those charges ever led to a conviction.
That is insane.
So they literally harassed this journalist until he died.
Oh my God. Like, you'd think at some point a judge would be like, enough.
Right,
like,
stop
how many
it.
fucking charges are we going to do here?
Right.
Like, nothing's sticking.
Right.
We know what you're doing.
Now, the prosecutor involved in filing these charges was none other than Giuliano Mignini, who was the same guy who led the charge against Amanda Knox.
Oh my God.
It's that dude.
Dude.
So this prosecutor and Inspector Guittieri ended up being convicted in 2008 of abuse of office.
Oh, good.
So they got in trouble for this eventually.
Finally.
And to this day, the Monster of Florence case remains open, and many people consider it unsolved.
Well, it doesn't seem like there is a consensus person who did it.
No.
Like, I like Spezzi's theory the most, and it seems the most based in fact, but we don't know 100%.
Right. And
is that guy still alive?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I know that the snack buddies are all dead.
Right, because they were older.
But
this guy would only be like in his 60s now.
Right.
So he could technically.
He's definitely younger. I don't know. And I'm sure there's a lot of stuff and details like I could pour over that I haven't explored yet. The thing about this case, as I was telling you, is like this really is the Zodiac case of Italy because there are so many theories. There's so many suspects. There's so many rabbit holes. It's so complicated. It spanned many years.
And there doesn't seem to be a lot of hard facts because of the inept like forensics on the initial cases.
Yeah.
Like we don't have a ton of things where it's like this is a concrete fact other than the gun.
Maybe. Yeah, the gun, definitely.
I'm surprised Salvatore didn't have like a deathbed
confession
where he's like, it was my son. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, we have one last little thread to pull here. There's one more compelling suspect. It's the Zodiac killer
himself.
Yeah. Some people believe that the Zodiac killer is also the monster of Florence.
Oh.
And there's this Italian journalist named Francesco Amiconi. He has been detailing this on his website since 2017. It's like his own investigation into the connection. I went to this guy's website. I kind of made my head explode just because it was so much information and it was like 2 a.m. and I could not, like, you can read it. You can read all his, it's a lot. One of the theories I saw was connected to Robert Graysmith's water theory. How the Zodiac killer, there was like a lot of water connections.
Right. And these were.
And the monster of Florence, you could make those connections too.
Yeah. But I mean.
Look, it's a fun theory, but I don't know if I believe it.
I've definitely gone to those websites while I'm researching and been like overwhelmed. I'm like, I cannot. No. There's too many pages. And then there's nothing like linear.
No,
it's just all over.
It was all over the place. I'm sure this guy's worked really hard on this theory, but I couldn't parse it and I apologize. It was like too much information. I need like a break. I need bullet points for this one.
I agree. No, and that would make him also the Unabomber.
Wait, was the Zodiac killer also?
That was a theory, Zodiac, that he was the Unabomber because Ted Kaczynski was like at Berkeley at the time,
right? And
there's like some timeline stuff that added up, but obviously I don't think that's true. But I like the idea that he's all three,
right?
We have to find out if Ted Kaczynski went to Florence to study,
dude,
at some point. then we're cooking.
Now we're cooking. Anyway, that is our conclusion to the Monster of Florence, Hannibal, movie versus reality. I hope you all enjoyed it.
Oh my God. I did. I love the conspiracies. And I'm glad we have something kind of solid.
Yeah.
Like to leave. Because I don't like an unsolved.
I mean, I think Mario Spezzi is a pretty good journalist. And it sounds like he really...
Well, he was in the case so long.
Yeah, from the beginning.
Yeah, and I just feel like he's the only one who wasn't just going crazy and thinking everyone did it.
Right.
Like he kind of waited and figured it out.
Right.
And looked into everything. So I definitely like that theory, but I feel like let's solve this already.
Yeah.
It seems so solvable to me because there's so many crime scenes.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It might be too late, like, because...
all these people are gone now.
They're gone and the crime scenes are old and I don't know.
And we're still going to have these stubborn people who don't want to admit to anything.
Right.
Always.
Of course.
Probably. Okay. Well,
read the book if you want to know even more about the case. And I'm excited, really excited for Desi's episode next week.
Yeah.
Because I know what it is.
Okay.
Anyway, bye.